The Whispering Winds. Once upon a time, in the tranquil village of Ember Hollow, the air was thick with the scent of earth and blossoming flowers. But that year, the winds whispered an unsettling tale. Drought had come upon them, silently stealing the vibrancy from the fields and casting a shadow over the hearts of its inhabitants. Elara Whitmore stood at the threshold of her quaint cottage, her long chestnut hair dancing lightly in the gentle breeze. She closed her eyes and let the whispers wash over her, filling her with a growing sense of urgency. As the village healer, Elara felt an intrinsic connection to every soul residing in Ember Hollow. She had watched each child grow, nurtured mothers through countless deliveries, and tended to the sick with an unwavering dedication. Yet today, she found that her own dreams felt increasingly remote, like the flickering light of a distant star. Deep down, she yearned to know the depths of motherhood herself. Pulling herself from her reverie, Elara turned to her garden, now wilting under the unforgiving sun. Moments spent tending to her herbs had always brought her solace, yet the unhappy sight before her was painful to bear. With each day passing, she felt the dreams of her family eluding her, trapped behind a veil of unfulfilled desire. "That will not do," Margaret Harper's voice broke through her thoughts as if reading her mind. The old herbalist approached, her silver hair shining brightly in the sun, and her expressive green eyes full of care. "You must have faith, Elara." "Faith doesn't seem enough when we're losing everything," Elara replied, the sorrow evident in her voice. Margaret's warm smile remained unwavering. "Faith is all we have, love. The storms will pass, and you will bloom again." Her hand gestured to the garden, now disheveled by the drought. "Perhaps you should let the universe decide." Elara sighed, knowing her wise friend spoke truths learned over a lifetime. Yet, the heaviness in her heart was undeniable, and the longing for her own family was becoming harder to quench. "What if I could help others find solace, even if I cannot find my own?" she said, her voice tinged with hope. Margaret pondered for a moment before her expression brightened. "You've already done so much. Perhaps you should embrace what you cherish most, your gift to nurture it." Amidst the dwindling crops and strained spirits of her neighbors, Elara wondered if she could offer a solution, a way to bring love into the lives of those who desperately sought it. Could she help couples yearning for children? The mere thought was both terrifying and exhilarating, but the notion resonated deeply within her, a path she felt she could explore. Just then, a familiar sound broke the quiet, the playful laughter of children dancing through the air. Elara turned to see a group of youngsters chasing butterflies near the fountain in the center of the village square. For a moment, the laughter seemed to ease her heart, reminding her of the uncomplicated joys of upbringing and the shared warmth of community. Approaching the square, she joined Margaret, who leaned against the fountain wall, twinkling eyes following the children with affection. "Each one of those little spirits carries a spark," Margaret said softly. "They are a reminder of what we hold dear, the continuation of life and love. You mustn't lose sight of that." Elara watched as the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden rays onto the faces of the children. "They deserve to grow with the nurture and love of their parents," she murmured, feeling the tug of clarity. "And I could help others find the fulfillment that eludes me." In that moment, she made a silent vow. She would explore the possibility of stepping into the role of a surrogate for those unable to have children of their own. It would not be a decision without challenges, but she hoped it could alleviate some of the collective sorrow in their village while simultaneously bringing a fragment of purpose to her own life. "Let's go home, Elara," Margaret encouraged, sensing her resolve. "Soon, I may need your assistance again. There are whispers in the fertile ground that perhaps we shall see rain in the coming days, a return to hopes." Elara smiled, the thought bringing warmth to her heart. As they made their way back to her cottage, she felt a shift within herself, a newfound determination blossoming, like the first sprout of green peeking through the parched soil. As the sun set low behind the hills, painting the sky in shades of amber and lavender, Elara inhaled deeply. She could hear the whispers of the winds around her, now more than a gentle reminder of loneliness but a beckoning call for change. Her journey was about to begin, one that could forge connections and heal the hearts of many while helping her uncover her true self along the way. The winds whispered promises of tomorrow, and Elara felt ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. A heart's dilemma. Elara stood before her mirror, fingers nervously twisting a strand of her hair. With her heart racing, she prepared for the day ahead, knowing that it could change the course of her life forever. The sun streamed through her window, illuminating the cozy little cottage, yet its warmth did little to ease the unease swirling in her chest. Today, the couple from the village, Thomas and Lila, would visit to discuss the possibility of her becoming their surrogate, a prospect that filled her with excitement and trepidation. As she made her way to the village square, her thoughts were consumed by how else this decision could impact her life. A part of her wanted to say yes immediately, to dive headfirst into the chance to help others. Yet the fear of emotional turmoil lingered in the back of her mind. What if she grew too attached? What if she found herself longing for the children she would have to relinquish? The square was bustling with life, a contrast to her inner turmoil. Bright stalls offered vegetables and handmade crafts, and laughter filled the air as children darted about, chasing one another. Ilara took a deep breath, grounding herself in the familiar sights and sounds. It was a beautiful day. Perhaps the breeze would hold a hint of rain, quenching the thirst of the parched earth. Arriving at her designated meeting spot, a quaint wooden bench near the fountain, Ilara saw Thomas and Lila approaching, hand in hand. Labored expression lingered on Thomas's face, while Lila's gaze was a mix of hope and determination, her curls bouncing slightly with each step. "Hello, Ilara." Lila greeted with a welcoming smile, her voice sparkling with cautious enthusiasm. "Thank you for meeting with us." "Of course," Ilara replied, forcing a smile despite the anxiety brewing within her. "I was looking forward to our talks." As they settled onto the bench, Ilara's heart raced in anticipation. She could sense the weight of their dreams upon her shoulders, like a tapestry woven from threads of yearning and desperation. "I'm sure you've heard our story," Thomas began, his voice trembling slightly. "We've been trying for years to have children, but it seems like fate has other plans for us." His words resonated with a sadness that tugged at Ilara's heart. Lila squeezed his hand, her eyes filled with emotion. "You're our last hope, Ilara. We can't express how much it would mean to us if you could help us build a family." Ilara took a moment, letting their words resonate. "You both deserve this," she said measuredly. "But I cannot lie, this is an emotional path. I would not just be their caretaker, I would be their nurturer." Lila nodded, her expression shifting to one of understanding. "We've thought about that. We can't imagine what it would be like for you, and it's beyond generous of you to even consider it." "I want to help, but," Ilara paused, her throat tightening. "What if I grow attached? What if I can't let them go?" Lila's eyes softened as she spoke. "We understand. It won't be easy for us either. But we'll make this journey together, and we'll always honor the bond that forms between us. You will always be part of their story." Ilara felt the depth of their sincerity. It struck a chord deep within her. This task wouldn't just be an act of kindness, it would be a shared connection that could interlace their lives. Still, the echoes of her heart's dilemma loomed. "Have you discussed this with anyone else?" Ilara asked, her voice steady but subdued. "No," Thomas replied. "We wanted you to be the first to know, to be sure of our commitments." As she looked into Lila's hopeful eyes, Ilara saw the profound need for love, the same longing flickering within her. The thought of creating life, filling their home with laughter and warmth, blossomed a tenderness in her heart. But that tenderness was laced with uncertainty. After a brief silence, Ilara spoke again, her voice gently resolute. "Then we must set boundaries from the very beginning. This is an emotional risk for all of us, and we should have open conversations every step of the way." Lila's face brightened. "Yes, that makes so much sense. We'll always be honest with each other." Ilara smiled weakly, feeling a surge of confidence but still apprehensive about what lay ahead. "If I were to agree, I would need time to truly embrace this decision." "Absolutely," Thomas said earnestly. "Take all the time you need. We want this to be right for you as much as it is for us." As they parted ways, Ilara felt a myriad of emotions roiling within her. The sun hung low in the sky, casting long shadows across the cobblestones, yet her heart seemed illuminated with newfound purpose. She had the power to fulfill the dreams of others, but in doing so, she still needed to nurture her own heart, ensuring that it would remain whole. Returning home, Elara found herself enveloped by the familiar scents of her herbs, yet their calming effect felt distant. She needed time to contemplate, not just the implications of surrogacy but the essence of family itself. In preparing to give so much, Elara wondered if she would break her own heart in the process, or if instead, she would uncover love in ways she had never imagined. The winds whispered again, carrying the weight of her heart's dilemma, and as Elara drifted into her evening routine, she resolved to listen closely. The answers may lie within those gentle breezes waiting to be found. The unexpected proposal. The morning sun invited a promise of warmth as Elara stepped into the village, her thoughts still swirling with the discussion from the day before. No longer was she merely the village healer, she was poised on the precipice of a pivotal choice, one that could alter her life's path. The day was laced with a nervous energy, an electric charge that ignited her spirit with anticipation and apprehension. As she made her way to the herb shop to gather supplies, Elara spotted Samuel Crow tending to his small plot of land near the edge of the village. His seasoned hands worked the soil with precision, as if coaxing something hidden to emerge. Elara paused, watching him admire his labor, and felt a twinge of admiration for the quiet strength he projected. Samuel had endured his own share of hardships, losing his beloved wife a few years past. Despite his grief, he remained committed to his farming, a life that sustained him and the villagers alike. "Good morning, Elara," Samuel called out, wiping his brow. His warm blue eyes twinkled as he approached her. "You're out early. Have the herbs started whispering secrets already?" "More like my heart has been battling with secrets," she replied, a smile playing on her lips. "How's the farm?" "The rain gods have been elusive, but my crops are holding up," he said, motioning to the rows of green sprouting steadily from the earth. "I'm hopeful." Elara considered him a sturdy anchor amidst the swirling uncertainties of her decision. They exchanged pleasant small talk about the village and its needs, laughing lightly as they discussed the annual harvest festival approaching. Samuel's laughter rolled like a soothing melody, calming the tension that had lingered in her heart. But her thoughts drifted back to Thomas and Lila, the couple who had laid their hopes at her feet. "Samuel, do you believe in the strength of dreams?" she asked suddenly, her eyes searching his. "Dreams?" He raised an eyebrow in curiosity. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, contemplating the heaviness of her aspiration to help others, an act that demanded unyielding courage. "I'm facing a choice, one that could change everything. Lila and Thomas have asked me to become a surrogate for them." His eyes widened with surprise, and for a moment, Elara sensed his initial hesitation, perhaps unsure how to address such a profound request. "That's a monumental decision. What are you feeling about it?" "I'm torn," she admitted. "I want to help, but I can't help but wonder what it will cost me emotionally. What if I end up heartbroken?" Samuel considered her words thoughtfully, then stepped closer, leaning in slightly as he spoke. "You're a generous soul, Elara. You care deeply, and it's understandable to worry about losing part of your heart in that process. But think of how many lives you could change." Elara nodded. "It feels extraordinary, yet terrifying at the same time." Just then, a voice called out from the direction of Thomas and Lila's home. They approached, and Elara felt her heartbeat quicken. "Samuel, it was lovely speaking with you," she said hurriedly before stepping forward to greet the couple. "Good morning." Lila beamed, her energy infectious. "Elara, we've brought you some things." Thomas held out an ornate box, its wooden surface polished to perfection. "It's a small thank you for considering our request," he said. "We thought it might help you reflect on your decisions." With curiosity surging within her, Elara took the box and lifted the lid. Inside, she found delicate wooden carvings, figures of children playing, chasing butterflies, and reaching for the sky. Each one was masterfully crafted, exuding warmth and life. "It's beautiful," Elara breathed, touched by their thoughtfulness. "Those figures represent our hope for a family. We wanted you to understand how much you mean to us," Lila explained, her eyes glistening with emotions. Elara's heart swelled with feelings beyond what she could articulate. "These are precious. Thank you." An excited notion sprouted within her, the realization that this proposal had deeply interwoven their lives. "I want to honor your dream. But first, we must lay down the groundwork. Thomas leaned in earnestly. We understand. We want this to feel right for you too. We're willing to do whatever it takes. Let's create a clear framework. What happens if things get complicated? How we communicate throughout the process, Elara suggested, feeling invigorated. We can set boundaries before we dive in. Whatever you need, Thomas replied solemnly, the agreement firm in his tone. As laughter filled the air around them, Elara felt a stirring of clarity and newfound courage. She had expected fear, heartbreak, and turmoil, yet here she stood, embraced by a sense of community that reaffirmed her dreams. Can we meet regularly? Elara proposed, her conviction growing stronger. Let's create a safe space for open dialogue and support. Yes. Lila twirled a hand excitedly. We can gather here each week and discuss how we're feeling. Communication will be key. The couple's spirits lifted, laughter intertwining with their voices as the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting soft rays over them. Elara's heart, previously laden with doubt, now radiated warmth. She realized that she could face this journey, not only as Elara the healer but as Elara the compassionate partner in their shared dreams. Samuel, will you join us? Elara asked, turning to him. You could provide your input on how to nurture relationships alongside the family. I would be honored, he replied, an appreciative smile gracing his lips. As the four began to plot the structure of their collaboration, Elara felt a surge of energy surging through her veins. She was captivated by the excitement of the unknown, as if the winds were guiding her toward a destiny yet to unfold. This unexpected proposal had transformed into an opportunity that resonated with her deepest aspirations. Surrounded by their laughter and determination, Elara understood that perhaps giving of herself, her time, her nurturance, might ultimately lead her to discover what it meant to be part of something larger than herself. And as the sun set gently on Ember Hollow, painting the sky with oranges and purples, she felt hope flicker anew, shining brightly on the path ahead. Among the blossoms, the sweet scent of springtime filled the air as Elara meandered through her garden. The flowers were beginning their dance with the dawn, their vibrant colors vying for attention under the sun's gentle caress. It was a welcome contrast to the emotional storm brewing within her heart. Today was a day for reflection, a day for her to reconnect with herself amidst the blossoms, both outside and within. She knelt beside her prized chamomile, tracing her fingers delicately along the feathery leaves. Her thoughts ebbed and flowed like the seasons, weaving together images of children's laughter and her commitment to Thomas and Lila. Could she truly open herself up to this journey? The path she was choosing seemed both exhilarating and daunting. Could she endure the emotional weight? Ah, there you are. Margaret Harper's cheerful voice broke through Elara's reverie. The silver-haired herbalist approached, her familiar wicker basket brimming with a vibrant assortment of herbs and flowers. I suspected you might be here among your precious blooms. Margaret, Elara exclaimed with a smile, grateful for the warmth of her longtime friend. I was just thinking about how healing this garden has always been for me. Margaret settled beside her, admiring the delicate blossoms with a keen eye. Every flower tells a story, just as we do, she mused, reaching for a vibrant zinnia. Tell me, child, what story are you crafting today? Elara sighed, unsure whether to share the emotional labyrinth unfolding within her. However, Margaret's gentle presence and unwavering support stirred a desire to confide. I've agreed to help Thomas and Lila as a surrogate, she said tentatively, watching Margaret's expression closely. And how do you feel about this new chapter? Margaret inquired, her tone soothing, inviting the truth out. I want nothing more than to support them. But I'm terrified, Elara confessed, the weight of her vulnerability hanging in the air. What if I become attached? What if I can't let go when the time comes? Margaret reached out, placing a reassuring hand on Elara's back. My dear, love is complex. When you pour your heart into something, it naturally binds you to it. But remember, love is not a finite resource. It can bloom in ways we cannot foresee. Yet, Elara interjected softly, what if I lose a part of myself in the process? Life itself is an act of letting go, Margaret replied thoughtfully. Each time we love, we also open ourselves to loss. But in that very act, we grow richer, not poorer. It is in the embrace of shared experiences that we find meanings. Elara considered Margaret's insights as she inhaled the fragrant air. The sun hung low, casting a golden hue across the garden, and all around them, the blossoms seemed to nod in agreement. How do you manage it, Margaret? You lost your beloved, yet you continue to nurture lives. The older woman looked out across the garden, her blue eyes sparkling with the wisdom of years. I learned to carry love with me, always. Each flower, each child, is a testament to the love we shared. They are extensions of that bond, reminders that love transcends even the most profound loss. Tears brimmed in Elara's eyes as Margaret's words resonated within her. The idea of love living on, like seedlings sprouting from the earth, began to illuminate her heart. She could share in this journey without being bound by fear. Her love could amplify, not diminish, her spirit. Thank you, Elara whispered, pulling Margaret into a tight embrace. I'm grateful for your guidance. Always, dear child. You have as much to teach me as I have to teach you, Margaret replied, the warmth of her hug radiating comfort. As they tended to the garden together, picking herbs and arranging blooms into delicate bouquets, a sense of clarity settled within Elara. The laughter of children echoed in her memories, joining the vibrant chorus of life surrounding them. She envisioned the joy she could bring to Thomas and Lila, the possibility of creating a family fueled by love, a love she could foster and grow. Let's make something beautiful, Elara suggested, as they gathered flowers to create a vibrant arrangement. Something to brighten the village. Nodding enthusiastically, Margaret began weaving stems together, their hands busy crafting a visual testament to the budding hope within Elara's heart. Every petal, every leaf, became a reflection of her aspirations. With each arrangement they created, Elara felt her heart expand, embracing not just the potential joy of building a family but also the resilience to endure any heartache that might arise. She resolved to stand firm in her decision, to approach this journey with open arms rather than retreating into self-protection. As they placed the finishing touches on their floral creations, Margaret paused, her eyes twinkling. You've found your resolve, haven't you? I believe I have, Elara replied, her voice firm with newfound conviction. I want to gift love to others and see what flowers from it. I won't shy away from the possibilities. Then may your journey bloom beautifully, my dear, Margaret said, admiring the masterpieces they had rendered. The two women shared a moment of silence, contemplating their handiwork before loading the vibrant bouquets into Margaret's basket. Let's take these to the market, Elara suggested, a smile breaking across her face. Yes. What better way to spread joy? Margaret agreed as they began to walk back. As they made their way toward the village square, the flowers swayed in the gentle breeze, echoing the rhythm of Elara's heart, a heart no longer burdened by fear, but rather blossoming with love and the promise of connection. Perhaps what awaited her on this journey would transcend both her expectations and her apprehensions. With the guidance of a friend and the support of a community, she felt ready to embrace the path ahead and sow the seeds of possibility. New beginnings. The morning sun cast a golden glow over the village of Ember Hollow, bathing the earth in warmth that felt both revitalizing and hopeful. Elara stood at her cottage door, a fluttering mix of excitement and nervousness coursing through her veins. Today marked the beginning of a journey she had only dared to dream about. She was to meet Thomas and Lila to begin the process of becoming their surrogate. She took a deep breath, inhaling the fragrant aromas of blooming flowers, and steeled herself with thoughts of love and nurturing. This was a step she had chosen, one that promised to bring her closer to fulfilling a desire held within her heart. Yet, as she made her way toward the village square, doubt crept in alongside her eagerness. What if she couldn't meet their expectations? What if her emotions tangled in unexpected ways? Arriving at the square, Elara found herself enveloped by joyful chaos. Children darted about, laughter mingling with the cheerful banter of villagers setting up market stalls. She spotted Lila and Thomas near their booth, decorated with pastel cloth and shimmering vases filled with flowers, their enthusiasm palpable. Elara felt a flicker of warmth ripple through her. These were two people committed to love and family, ready to embrace her into their circle. Good morning, Elara. Lila greeted with a bright smile, her curly hair bouncing as she stepped forward. We've missed you at the market. You look radiant today, Thomas added, his blue eyes sparkling. "Thank you for being here. It means so much to us." Stepping into their orbit, Elara felt the weight of their gratitude seep into her heart. "Thank you for including me in this," she replied, her voice steadying as she centered herself. "I'm excited but also a bit nervous." "Completely normal," Lila reassured, placing a hand on Elara's wrist. "This is new for all of us, and I believe it's worth every ounce of anticipation." Elara nodded, comforted by Lila's warmth. As they began preparing for the day ahead, thoughts of their shared purpose began to settle her nerves. They set up their stall together, arranging vibrant flowers and handmade crafts, while discussing their hopes and dreams as if nurturing seeds that would soon take root. "Let's talk about the plan," Thomas proposed as they finished arranging the final details. "We need to establish a timeline and figure out how we'll manage the medical appointments and other logistics." Lila chimed in, brimming with excitement. "We should also create a schedule that allows us to meet regularly. Communication will help our bond grow stronger." Elara admired their dedication. It was a tangible representation of the future they were all navigating. "Absolutely. And I think it's essential for us to check in emotionally as I move forward. This is not just a physical journey, it's an emotional one as well." With the foundation set, the trio shared ideas about each step along the way. Lila sketched a timeline in the dirt with her finger, while Thomas proposed ideas for their meetings, suggesting they start each gathering with a simple ritual to honor the journey they were undertaking together. "We could light a candle or partake in a moment of gratitude before discussing our feelings," Lila offered, her enthusiasm infectious. Elara felt a swell of appreciation. The thought of creating a nurturing environment to facilitate open dialogue was exactly what she needed to ensure the emotional safety required to embark on this path. "That sounds beautiful," she agreed. "I'd love to incorporate some flower arrangements as visual reminders of our journeys." Throughout the morning, the square came alive with activity, filled with the harmonious hum of vendors and villagers. With each passing moment, Elara felt her initial hesitation brush away like petals caught in a soft breeze. Laughter bubbled from her lips as they exchanged stories about their dreams, hopes, and even moments of vulnerability, allowing her heart to open like the blossoms around her. As they wrapped up their booth, a little girl wandered over, clutching a vibrant daisy with wide-eyed curiosity. She looked up at Elara and said, "That flower is so pretty. Can I have one?" Elara's heart melted. She reached for a delicate flower, bending down to meet the girl's gaze. "Of course, sweet pea. This one is especially brave, just like you." She gifted the flower and noticed the girl's delighted smile, realizing that this was the essence of what she was beginning to create, with love, trust, and nurturing spirits. As the sun continued its ascent, illuminating the square, Elara felt a sense of belonging unfurling within her. With the support of Thomas and Lila, she was crafting a future grounded in mutual care, weaving lives together through heartfelt intentions. "How are you feeling now?" Lila asked, watching Elara closely as they prepared to pack up the stall. "I'm feeling hopeful," Elara replied, her voice steady. "I believe we can make this work together, not just as surrogate parents, but as a families." A tender moment stretched between them, all three understanding the importance of what they were about to embark upon. They were no longer simply individuals in pursuit of dreams. They were allies, bound by their commitment to nurture a life together. Later that evening, Elara strolled home, the afterglow of the day still warming her soul. The sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky in breathtaking shades of orange and pink. As she stepped inside her cottage, she glanced at the little flower pot on her windowsill, now adorned with the lively daisy gifted to her by the little girl at the market. Elara smiled, allowing herself a moment to breathe deep and acknowledge the beauty of new beginnings. This was only the first step on an extraordinary journey, and she felt more ready than ever to embrace whatever challenges and joys lay ahead. Love, she realized, was not just waiting to be found, it was something to be actively created. And with renewed courage sparkling in her heart, Elara knew she was ready to plant the seeds of a shared future, one where love would grow and flourish, intertwined with the promise of family. Bonds of laughter. The season of new beginnings flourished in Ember Hollow, the air thicker with promise as summer embraced the village. Elara found herself caught in a whirlwind of activity as she adjusted to her new role not only as a healer but also as a surrogate partner for Thomas and Lila. The initial excitement of the journey had blossomed into a vibrant tapestry of emotions woven with threads of hope, determination, and the occasional twinge of anxiety. Elara, Lila, and Thomas had agreed to meet weekly, and in their gatherings, they spent time not only discussing logistics but also sharing their lives. The ring of laughter echoed louder than the worry, creating a comforting symphony that reinforced their bond. They often convened in Elara's cottage, which had become a sanctuary for openness and dialogue. This particular afternoon, Elara had prepared a small feast, a spread of freshly baked bread, berry tarts, and herbal tea. She could hardly contain her glee as she set the table, thinking of Lila and Thomas's delighted expressions. The meal was a way to celebrate the joys they had shared so far. When the couple arrived, the aroma of tart placed in the air brought smiles to their faces. "It smells incredible, Elara," Thomas exclaimed, inhaling deeply as he placed his hands playfully on his belly. "If this is how you treat us, I might never leave." As they gathered at the table, Lila chimed in, "We wouldn't want you to, Thomas. This is the best culinary teamwork I've seen this week." Her laugh broke the air, and Elara felt her heart swell with appreciation for these connections they were nurturing. "Which is why," Elara retorted with a twinkle in her eye, "I'll always make the food, and you can take care of the emotional supports." They laughed together, a chorus of joy that echoed throughout the cottage. With each playful banter, Elara felt the layers of tension she didn't realize she had been carrying peeling away, making room for warmth and camaraderie. Over their meal, they exchanged stories that danced between light-hearted and profound, each revealing snippets of their lives before they had converged on this collaborative path. They shared fond memories of childhood, dreams of future adventures, and challenges faced along the way. While sipping tea, Lila recalled her childhood. "You wouldn't believe how many mud pies I made in the backyard. I swear I was destined for the kitchen." Her laughter filled the room, lighting up even the corners that felt dim. "Just imagine how many people you could have poisoned with those creations," Elara teased, her laughter merging with Lila's. "I still remember how you once mentioned serving your secret recipe at the village potlucks." "Don't remind me," Lila retorted with mock exasperation. "I clearly didn't have a knack for cooking back then." Thomas threw his head back, laughing heartily. "And yet here you are, transformed into a culinary whip with all the skills to orchestrate a feast of gourmet proportions." Their laughter was pure and heartfelt, and in these moments, Elara savored the lightness that seeped into her heart. Here they were, bonding over stories and shared vulnerabilities, entangled in the very essence of family love. "I have something to share too," Thomas said, wiping away tears of amusement from his cheeks. "It's not quite as funny, but it's definitely a part of who I am." He shifted slightly, settling into a more serious demeanor. "After Sarah's passing, I felt so lost. I was afraid of feeling joy again, like I'd betrayed her memory. But now, being part of this with the two of you has reminded me of how important it is to embrace love and happiness when we can't." The air grew still as his words hung in the atmosphere, and Elara felt the stir of emotion surface, a bittersweet contrast to the laughter that had filled the room moments before. She reached across the table, placing her hand over his. "I can only imagine how difficult that must have been," she murmured. "But I'm grateful that you've chosen to share that part of your heart with us. I think that's what makes us a good team, a family," Lila added, her eyes shimmering with understanding. "We can create space for love, even in grief." The intimacy of the moment knitted their spirits closer together, and they fell into a comfortable silence, each reflecting on the path they were forging as a newfound family. After a time, a playful thought crossed Elara's mind. "Okay, enough with the sappy stuff. Let's play a game. Is this your way of ensuring you can keep your culinary reputation alive?" Thomas teased, tilting his head playfully. Elara grinned and leaned back in her chair. "Nope, this is my way of shifting gears. How about a game of charades? It'll be fun, and no one will get hurt." The rest of the afternoon burst forth in a lively array of antics as laughter rang once more, filling the air with joy. They acted out ghosts and animals, mimicking their best impressions with unrestrained enthusiasm. The cottage echoed with hilarious howls and extravagant gesturing, creating a cacophony of joy that seemed to extend beyond their small space. Lila fell into giggles as Thomas attempted to impersonate a crow, flapping his arms and cawing with such fervor that he almost knocked over a vase. "You're a natural." Elara chuckled, her voice brightening the room. "Stop. I'm trying to channel my inner spirit animal, thank you very much," Thomas retorted dramatically, and everyone burst into laughter again, their shared joy no longer contained by the walls of the cottage. As they wrapped up their game, Elara felt the air around them shift. The laughter had transformed not just their day, but it was a sign of the evolving bond that was taking shape. They were fostering a family rooted in emotional safety, openness, and laughter, nurturing each other through every step of the journey ahead. That evening, as Elara prepared for bed, the joy of the day lingered in her heart. The laughter and connection shared reminded her that the road ahead wouldn't be solely filled with challenges, but also with moments of joy to cherish along the way. And in the heart of Ember Hollow, with the moon smiling through her window, Elara nestled into the warmth of hope, gratitude, and the promise of the family they were steadily creating together. The weight of choice. The days in Ember Hollow stretched into a cascade of sun-kissed mornings and starry nights, time slipping gently through Elara's fingers like grains of sand. As she settled into her role in the lives of Thomas and Lila, anticipation combined with a bittersweet pang of apprehension nestled deep within her heart. Each week deepened their bond further, yet as her commitment to their journey solidified, the weight of choice became increasingly tangible. One evening, Elara found herself sitting on her porch, contemplating the path before her. The sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky in rich hues of orange and purple. She inhaled deeply, taking in the scents of blooming lavender and rosemary from her garden. These moments of stillness had become both a refuge and a battleground for her thoughts. As the warm breeze brushed against her skin, uncertainty ebbed and flowed like waves on a shore. What lay ahead remained cloaked in mystery. She was about to play an integral role in the lives of her friends, but the emotional stakes felt daunting. What if she fell in love with the child, a sweet spirit destined to be wrapped up in someone else's arms? Would she be able to cope with the inevitable farewell? Thoughts spiraled, mingling with the rising gloom of the evening. Her resolve was interrupted by the sound of footsteps approaching. She turned to see Samuel Crow walking up the path, his silhouette framed against the vibrant evening sky. He was holding a basket filled with his recent harvest, a collection of ripe tomatoes, fresh herbs, and a surprise bouquet of wildflowers. "Evening, Elara," he greeted, his voice a warm balm in the quiet air. "Thought you could use some of the season's blessings." Elara smiled, her heart lifting at the sight of Samuel's kind gesture. "Thank you, Samuel. You know how to brighten a day." As she took the basket from him, she felt the weight of her worries lighten, if only for a moment. They settled on the porch, and she offered a slice of freshly baked bread she had prepared earlier, while Samuel arranged the wildflowers into a makeshift vase. "Delicious as always," Samuel remarked, taking a bite. "You could make a living as a baker. You have a gift." "I don't know about that," Elara replied, laughter fluttering through her. "My true talent lies in herbalism. Besides, the kitchen feels more like therapy for meal." Samuel observed her with genuine concern. "But you're straying from the real reason I came over, aren't you?" His knowing tone sent a shiver of apprehension through her. "I suppose I am," she admitted, gaze dropping to the earth. "It's just, every day brings me closer to this life-changing choice I'm making with Thomas and Lila. And it scares me. You care deeply for them," Samuel said softly, choosing his words carefully. "It's normal to feel apprehensive. But remember, it's you who chose to walk this path." Elara nodded, feeling her emotions teetering on the edge. "Yes, but what if I can't handle the heartache of saying goodbye? What if I grow too attached?" Samuel leaned forward, his expression unwavering. "If you choose to feel the joy of loving them, you also choose to embrace the risk of loss. Life is made of choices, Elara. Each one carries its burdens and blessings." As she processed his words, the weight of her choices pressed heavily upon her chest, like a cloak grown too tight. "I want to be brave. I want to support Thomas and Lila in building a family. But I fear getting lost in my attachment as the months progress." What does your heart tell you? Samuel asked gently, coaxing her into reflection. Elara took a moment, searching deep inside herself. It tells me to open up, to embrace this journey with love and integrity. But my mind rebels, imagining all the scenarios that could go wrong. Why are you letting fear dictate your choices? He probed, his voice laced with wisdom. You can't let fear hold you back from pursuing love. It's not about mute expressions of grief, it's about allowing yourself to experience the fullness of what might come. The wind swept through the leaves, and Elara felt the truth behind Samuel's words sink in. Love was a gift worth the risk, a fleeting beauty that would weave itself into the tapestry of her journey. What if those moments, however brief, could illuminate her world and guide her forward? I think I need to discuss my fears with Thomas and Lila, Elara said finally, the clarity settling like a soothing balm. They deserve to know how I feel and how the choices affect me, too. Samuel nodded approvingly. Honesty is the light needed to guide you through dark moments. You open yourself to possibilities when you communicate openly. I'm so grateful for your support, Samuel, she said warmly, leaning into his trust. You've always helped me steer through uncertainties. In a moment of silence, they watched as the stars began to peek out one by one, illuminating the night sky. In those twinkling lights, Elara felt an echo of possibility, a reminder that the weight of choice was a companion she would carry throughout life. She understood now that the decisions she made from a place of love could ultimately lead to healing, both in the embrace of journeying with Thomas and Lila and within herself. Their laughter mingled with the quiet tapestry of the night, drawing Elara's heart out of its shadow. Perhaps the act of opening up, of sharing vulnerabilities, was the strongest thread of all. As the last light of dusk faded and the stars shone brightly, Elara whispered a small prayer of courage to the universe, ready to embrace the weight of her choice and the beauty that lay ahead. Each passing moment inflected her soul with deeper understanding, weaving her ties to both joy and sorrow, the unbreakable bond of humanity. Gathering storms. The village of Ember Hollow seemed to hold its breath as dark clouds rolled across the sky, heavy with the promise of rain. Elara stood in her garden, her hands resting gently on the soft earth as she gazed up at the ominous sky. The air was thick with anticipation, charged with the scent of impending storms. While the rain was desperately needed to revive the parched landscape, the brewing storm mirrored the emotions coiling within her. It had been weeks since Elara had agreed to become a surrogate for Thomas and Lila. She had shared her fears with them during their last meeting, and while they had embraced her honesty, she could sense the weight on their hearts. Each day, the knowledge that she would soon carry their hopes pressed against her ribcage, tinged with both excitement and fear. As she tended to her flowers, she felt a familiar presence approach. Samuel Crow ambled down the pathway, his figure silhouetted against the darkening sky, a basket slung over his arm. The weight of the clouds loomed large, and he waved gently as he neared. "Looks like a storm is on the horizon," he remarked, his voice a calm anchor amid the brewing tension. "I brought you some fresh herbs and tomatoes before the rain hits. Thought you might want to whip up something warm for the soul." Elara took the basket from him, gratitude flooding her. She could always rely on Samuel's keen awareness of her needs, even when they went unspoken. "Thank you, Samuel. I might need it today more than ever." A flicker of concern flashed in Samuel's eyes. "Everything okay? You seem preoccupied." Elara nodded slowly, trying to gather her thoughts as she placed the basket on the table. "It's just that the closer I get to this journey with Thomas and Lila, the heavier it feels. I want to be this amazing support, but anxiety keeps surfacing." Samuel stepped closer, leaning against the porch railing with a thoughtful expression. "Have you shared this with them?" "I'm worried about adding more weight to their feelings," Elara admitted. "They've been through so much already, and I don't want to stir up fear. Not now when we're on the brink of something beautiful." "Fear is an intrinsic part of love and hope, Elara," he replied, a gentle firmness in his words. "You're all embarking on a profound journey that demands full honesty. In navigating these emotions together, you may discover a depth of connection you didn't expect." Elara turned her gaze toward the garden, the flowers bending slightly under the breeze. "You're right. I keep trying to bear this burden alone. Perhaps I could bring it up the next time we meet." The distant rumble of thunder echoed, causing a stir of apprehension in her stomach. "There's an unpredictability to it, isn't there?" she murmured. "What if I falter? What if I can't handle the heartache when the time comes?" "Then you communicate. You regroup," Samuel reassured her, placing a hand on her shoulder. "If storms come, we weather them together. Let each wave of doubt wash over you, and don't be afraid to share, whether it's laughter or tears." As the first droplets of rain began to fall, Elara pulled her shawl tighter around her shoulders. She felt invigorated by Samuel's words, even as fear intertwined with her anticipation. "Thank you for always reminding me of that. I guess we can't truly appreciate the sunshine without also experiencing the storms." With a smile, Samuel gestured toward the dining table inside. "How about we take shelter and whip up something warm together? A little cooking before the rain hits might lighten the moods." "Sure." Elara agreed eagerly, grateful for the distraction. They moved inside, laughter spilling over the threshold as the rain intensified. Samuel's presence warmed her space, the scent of herbs mingling with the aroma of rain-soaked earth. "Do you mind chopping the tomatoes while I brew some herbal tea?" she asked as they entered the kitchen. "Not at all. Just tell me how much to chop, chef," he said with a playful grin. As they worked side by side, the kitchen flourished with vibrant colors and aromas. They talked and laughed, engaging in a comfortable exchange that stitched their friendship even tighter. Elara felt a sense of release as the raindrops pounded against the roof, a soothing rhythm that echoed her thoughts. Just as they placed their bubbling pot of soup on the stove, there was a loud knock at the door. Both turned, surprised, and Elara's heart skipped a beat. Could it be Thomas and Lila? "I'll check," Samuel offered, heading to the door. Elara leaned in to listen, her heart racing. As Samuel opened the door, she could see the disheveled figures of Thomas and Lila, drenched by the rain, their expressions a blend of joy and apprehension. "Surprise," Lila called, shaking the raindrops from her curls. "We didn't let a little drizzle stop us from seeing you." Elara laughed, relief washing over her as she rushed to embrace them. "You two are soaked. Come in, we were just making soup to warm up." As they stepped into the warmth of the kitchen, Lila's laughter filled the room, a sound Elara cherished. "This weather is a little dramatic, don't you think? But if we're going to weather storms together, we might as well do it with homemade soup and herbal tea." "Absolutely," Thomas chimed in, his eyes sparkling. "You both look cozy. What can we contribute?" Elara exchanged glances with Samuel, who nodded encouragingly. "Just your presence and your laughter is enough," she said. "The rain may be heavy, but we have warmth indoors." As they gathered around the table, sharing stories and laughter, the weight Elara had been carrying began to lighten. The sound of rain became a backdrop to their unfolding narrative, reminding her that storms would come and go, but together they could create a shelter of love. In the heart of that tempest, she knew she had the support she needed. As the rain slapped against the windows, the gathering storm became a reminder that life's unpredictability painted the scenes of every journey they embarked on. And with bonds woven through laughter, warmth, and shared experiences, Elara surrendered to the storm, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. Threads of connection. The rain had ceased, leaving behind a crisp freshness that shimmered in the morning light. Elara woke to the world renewed, the earthy scent of wet grass and the gentle chirping of birds beckoning her outside. Today felt different. There was a tangible energy in the air, a sense of anticipation intertwined with all the choices she had made and those yet to come. After a quick breakfast, Elara made her way to the village square, where she had arranged to meet Thomas, Lila, and Samuel. They were gathered to discuss the next steps of her journey as their surrogate. The warmth of the sun shone upon her, lifting her spirits as she approached the meeting spot, a cozy nook with benches surrounded by blooming lilacs, their sweet fragrance wafting through the air. Thomas and Lila arrived first, their smiles bright amidst their lingering fatigue from the rain. Elara could see the joy in their eyes, and her heart swelled at the sight. "Good morning," she called out, her voice light and buoyant. "Morning," Lila responded, throwing her arms wide as if the entire world was theirs to embrace. "We were just discussing how lovely it is now that the rain has stopped. And how terrible our hair looks," Thomas added, running a hand through his damp curls. But that's a small price to pay for a beautiful day. Elara laughed, appreciating the ease between them. Their connection had evolved over the past weeks, developing into a bond that felt richer and fuller with each passing moment. "Well, the sun will fix that," she reassured. "We've got plenty of time before we can call ourselves refined." As they settled onto the benches, Samuel arrived, his usual basket in tow, this one stocked with fresh pastries he had baked to share. "I thought a little sweetness might fuel our conversation," he said with a grin. "Oh, you know the way to our hearts," Lila said, reaching for a pastry. "I could get used to these meetings." Elara's stomach fluttered with excitement. They weren't only discussing logistics, they were reinforcing a network of mutual support that entwined their lives. After everyone had taken a pastry and enjoyed the momentary sweetness, Thomas cleared his throat, signaling their shift toward serious matters. "It's time we talk about the path ahead, what the months will look like and how we will navigate this journey together," he began, his tone sincere but laced with warmth. "We want to approach this with clarity, and we'd like to hear your thoughts, Elara." Elara nodded, feeling the flutter of anticipation churning within her. "I think setting expectations and boundaries is crucial. I want us to be honest about feelings, what we can manage emotionally and physically." "Absolutely," Lila agreed, her eyes reflecting a sincerity that calmed Elara's racing heart. "We should also plan regular check-ins, like our laughter-infused meetings, but with time to share how we are actually feeling. Sometimes joy can be tied to a range of emotions, and we need to acknowledge that." "Communication is key," Samuel affirmed. "And it's essential we each bring with us not just our own expectations, but also our fears and hopes. We're all in this together, after all." With that, their discussion deepened, each of them weaving their thoughts and feelings into their plan, creating a tapestry rich with each thread of connection. They explored every possibility, from medical appointments to emotional support, creating a framework into which their shared dreams could flourish. Elara's heart swelled as they shared moments of vulnerability. "I want to be there for all of you. I'm scared, but I'm open to whatever this journey might bring," she shared. "Every bit of joy you experience will resonate within me, just as every challenge will too." "Knowing that we're connected in this way makes the weight lighter," Thomas replied softly. "This is a partnership, an unbreakable bond we're forming." As laughter and open dialogue flowed effortlessly, Elara realized that she was no longer just part of a plan for Thomas and Lila's family. She was, in essence, contributing to the very fabric of their lives, intertwining with them in ways she had never imagined. Their individual lives were becoming threads woven together, forming a beautiful tapestry of connection and love. As the sun reached its zenith, illuminating everything in a warm embrace, Elara felt a deep sense of gratitude. She looked around, absorbing the supportive energy surrounding her. Samuel's steadfastness, Thomas's intention, and Lila's radiant spirit. It was clear to her that whatever the future held, they would face it united, their hearts intertwined. After hours of rich conversation, laughter, and the occasional tear, they sat back in the warmth of companionship. A shared understanding enveloped them, forging a connection that was already growing roots. "Elara," Lila said suddenly, her expression shifting to one of earnestness. "You know, it's the little things that carry so much weight in our lives. Having you here with us means more than just sharing this journey, you are becoming part of our family." Elara felt the warmth of those words anchor her heart. "And you are becoming a part of mine." With that, they formed a circle, holding hands as they took a moment of silence, each reflecting on the bonds that were being forged, not out of need but out of love. The sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting golden beams that threaded through the lilacs, weaving an irresistible tapestry of hope. In that embrace, Elara understood that they were not simply embarking on a journey of surrogacy, they were crafting a profound connection grounded in shared experiences. Whatever lay ahead, they would move forward together. Three individuals weaving their stories tightly together, embracing whatever beautiful and complicated moments life had in store for them. With hearts open and intertwined, they knew that within the journey of creating a family, they would discover the intricate connections that illuminate the tapestry of life, guiding them through both joy and sorrow. And together, they were ready to face whatever came their way. The return of light. The village of Ember Hollow lay in a serene silence, the aftermath of the storm wrapping it in a quilt of soft brilliance. Raindrops clung to leaves like shimmering jewels as the early morning light filtered through the clouds, creating a breathtaking tableau. Elara rose early, the sound of gentle rain echoing in her heart, an invitation to embrace renewal. With each dawn, she felt the weight of her journey as a surrogate draw nearer. Today marked the culmination of several weeks filled with anticipation and careful planning. Thomas and Lila had scheduled an appointment for Elara to meet with their doctor, a vital step toward the next chapter of their shared journey. As she sipped her herbal tea on the porch, Elara infused her thoughts with intention, letting the tranquil beauty of the world around her calm her racing heart. After preparing herself, she set off toward the village square, where Thomas and Lila were waiting. The air was crisp, and the light had transformed the village into a haven of hope. When she arrived, she found them already there, Thomas leaning against a post, scanning the area, while Lila animatedly spoke with a local vendor. "Morning, Elara." Lila waved, eyes twinkling like the sun bursting through the gray clouds. "You look radiant today. Ready for an adventure?" Elara smiled, the warmth of Lila's enthusiasm radiating toward her. "Ready as I'll ever be. Just a bit nervous, I suppose." "Perfectly normal," Thomas reassured, stepping forward. "We're in this together, remember? Plus, I hear Dr. Harrison has a reputation for making every appointment feel more like a friendly gathering than a clinical visit." The trio exchanged light-hearted banter as they walked together, the village slowly coming to life around them. The laughter of children intermingled with the chatter of vendors setting up their stalls, creating a lively backdrop that enveloped them in a palpable sense of community. When they reached the small clinic on the edge of the village square, Elara took a deep breath, staring at the charming building adorned with flowering plants. She watched as a group of patients trickled in and out, their faces revealing expressions of warmth and care. The inviting atmosphere soothed her nerves, replacing apprehension with the stirring of hope. Inside, the waiting room was filled with soft colors and comfortable chairs. Dr. Harrison greeted them with a friendly smile, a kind man with silver-streaked hair and a welcoming demeanor. "Ah, the fabulous trio. Elara, it's lovely to finally meet you." Elara felt a rush of warmth at his words. "It's an honor to be here," she responded, holding her breath. Would he deem her worthy of this task she had willingly chosen? After exchanging pleasantries, Dr. Harrison led them into a private consultation room furnished with soothing colors and a cozy atmosphere. "As you all know, I'm here to support you in this journey. Elara, I'll be guiding you through the medical aspects of surrogacy and will provide you with all the information you need." As the doctor explained the process ahead, appointments, diet, and what to expect emotionally, Elara felt the weight of uncertainty begin to lift. His words were both reassuring and enveloping, creating a sense of light and understanding. Thomas and Lila listened intently, asking questions, eager to understand the specifics. Elara could see the love between them, their intertwined fingers, their exchanged glances laced with warmth. It reaffirmed her own growing sense of kinship with them, this family that was forming around her. After the appointment, they stepped outside, where sunshine poured through the dissipating clouds, painting everything in golden hues, awakening vibrancy in the world around them. The fresh fragrance of petrichor filled the air, and for the first time, Elara felt a lightness in her heart, as if she could breathe more freely. "You did it, Elara," Lila exclaimed, bouncing slightly on her toes. "You handled that like a pro." Thomas added playfully, "Next thing we know, she'll be running her own clinic." Elara chuckled, the laughter bubbling and twinkling with newfound joy. "I'm just grateful for the guidance. You two keep me grounded." As they savored the moment, a group of children dashed past in a flurry of laughter, the carefree sounds reverberating in Elara's heart. She watched the children run down the cobblestone street, their innocent joy a reflection of the hope blossoming within her. It was infectious, and she couldn't help but smile wider as she considered what the future held for her new extended family. "Let's celebrate this milestone with lunch," Thomas suggested, breaking Elara from her thoughts. "I know a great little cafe nearby. Their pastries are unmatched." On the way to the cafe, Elara felt the sunlight warm her skin and the moment felt imbued with magic. She looked at her friends walking by her side, and she marveled at how quickly they had forged this bond, applying the threads of connection they had nurtured along the way. They settled into a cozy table adorned with a vibrant flower vase and cheerful sunlight streaming through the window. As they shared food and stories, the conversation flowed seamlessly, laughter weaving through moments of reflection. It became clear that this journey was more than medical logistics. It was about nurturing relationships and shared experiences. At the table, Elara reveled in the familiarity they were creating, feeling part of something beautiful and transformative. Every bite of the delicious pastries tasted sweeter, and each moment warmed her heart. As the afternoon wore on and the sun's descent painted the sky once more with vivid colors, Elara beamed, recognizing the glimmer of possibility that had begun to illuminate her path. They were entwined in this journey together, a family stitched together by dreams and hope, all amidst the threads of connection they continued to weave. With laughter surrounding her and hearts open to the unfolding future, Elara understood that the return of light came not just with the sun's rays but also through love, acceptance, and the cherished moments spent together. And in that sunlight, she saw reflections of the adventures to come, colorful and boundless, as they all embraced the journey ahead. The ties that bind. The sun had settled low in the sky, casting long shadows across the village of Ember Hollow as Elara stood on the threshold of her garden, her heart cloaked in anticipation. It had been a few weeks since their last meeting with Dr. Harrison, and with each passing day, the reality of her pregnancy was becoming more tangible. Every flutter and sensation within her reminded her of the life growing with so much promise. Today marked a special occasion. Thomas and Lila had invited Elara to their home for a celebration, a gathering to honor their connection and the profound bonds they were forming. The idea both thrilled and frightened her, as she grappled with the sweeping changes happening in her life. This journey was not just about the little life they were cultivating, it was about deepening the ties that bound them together as a family. As the sun slipped behind the hills, she made her way toward their charming cottage, its white walls glowing in the golden light. The sounds of laughter reverberated through the air, filling Elara with warmth and excitement. This evening was about marking the beginning of their shared journey, a celebration of love and friendship. Lila opened the door, her vibrant energy spilling forth like the welcoming aroma of freshly baked bread. "You made it. I was beginning to think you would get lost in your garden." Elara stepped inside, greeted by the cozy glow of candlelight and the sweet scent of herbs. "I might have considered it, but then I wouldn't want to miss out on this evening's." Thomas appeared from the kitchen, wiping his hands on a dish towel, his face lighting up at the sight of her. "Welcome, Elara. We've been anxious to celebrate and share this milestone with you." "Milestone indeed," Lila added, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "Tonight's about embracing this journey we're all on together. We have a surprise." Curiosity danced in Elara's heart. "A surprise? You're teasing me now." "Only the best kind," Thomas replied with a wink as he led her into the dining area. The table was beautifully set, adorned with an array of vibrant flowers and lit by flickering candles. In the center lay a small cake, decorated with delicate icing that read, "For New Beginnings." Elara's breath hitched at the sight, her heart swelling with affection. Lila beamed with pride. "We thought it fitting to honor this journey today with a moment to cherish." As they settled at the table, Thomas raised a glass. "To new beginnings, bound by love and friendship." Elara felt tears prick at the corners of her eyes as she clinked her glass against theirs. "To love, and to the precious connections we're forming together." As they dined, laughter wove its way through their conversation, each story and shared memory tightening the threads of their bond. They spoke of their dreams, hopes, and the excitement of watching Elara's belly grow as the baby developed. Elara shared her own anxieties and questions that arose about the journey ahead, and Thomas and Lila listened intently, their camaraderie providing comfort. "Every fear you have is valid," Thomas expectantly said. "We'll walk through them together. You're not alone in this, we share this journey." Elara smiled, feeling the warm embrace of their support. "Thank you for your understanding. It's incredible how this experience has already transformed our lives." As the sun set and darkness enveloped the village, they moved outside, where lanterns began lighting up the garden, creating a romantic ambience. Lila led Elara to a cozy spot under the stars, a picnic blanket spread out and cushions arranged for comfort. "There's more," Lila said with mischief in her eye. Time for the real surprise. Thomas brought out a small box, presenting it to Elara. We wanted to give you something special. Open it. Her heart raced as she carefully opened the box to reveal delicate charms, one representing each of them. There was a small flower charm to symbolize Lila's nurturing spirit, a sturdy oak leaf for Thomas, representing strength and support, and a tiny star to stand for Elara herself, the light that united them all. These charms are to remind you of the ties that bind us, Thomas said. Wear them every day as a reminder of the love we share. Elara's eyes brimmed with tears as she clutched the charms to her heart. Thank you. This is so beautiful, so meaningful. It means the world to me. As they settled on the blanket, laughter and stories flowed freely beneath the stars, illuminating the space they shared. In that glowing circle, Elara realized that life's most precious moments often emerge from unity and support. These ties are what makes every experience profound. The journey ahead may be uncertain, Elara said, her voice steady as she shared, but with love and unity, we have the power to face it all. Exactly, Lila confirmed, leaning into Thomas, their fingers entwined. With love, we can face any storm together. As they sat beneath the vast expanse of the night sky, interconnected by laughter and stories as well as the tangible charms binding them together, Elara felt an overwhelming sense of purpose and belonging. Each moment spent with Thomas and Lila enriched her with warmth, and in that closeness, she found solace and strength. It was within these ties that she recognized the beauty of life, the joy found in shared laughter, whispered dreams, and the unwavering support of friends becoming family. The essence of their connection blossomed like the stars above, illuminating the path ahead, guiding them through whatever uncertainties lay before them. Together, they were forging not just a family grounded in love, but a future ripe with possibility. Home at last. The gentle sound of rustling leaves danced through the air as Elara stood in her garden, feeling the warmth of late afternoon sunlight on her face. The world around her was alive with colors, but her heart thudded with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Today marked a significant turning point in her life. She was about to welcome the little one she had carried for Thomas and Lila into the world. A soft breeze carried the sweet fragrance of flowers through the air, a reminder of the beauty she had nurtured during her journey as their surrogate. It had been a whirlwind of experiences, joy intermingled with fear, each moment woven together into an intricate tapestry of love, vulnerability, and connection. Elara had grown not just physically but emotionally, embracing the change that had transformed her from a healer into a nurturer on a grand scale. Everything is ready, Lila's voice floated from the doorway, her presence igniting warmth in Elara's heart. She turned to find Lila standing there, her eyes glowing with anticipation. The car is waiting, and Thomas is pacing like a caged tiger. He can't wait to meet his babies. Elara chuckled softly, I can't blame him. I'm excited too, but part of me is nervous. Nervousness only means you care, Elara, Lila said, stepping closer to her, extending her hand. We're all in this together. You've got this. As they stepped out of the cottage, Thomas greeted them with a broad grin, the kind that illuminated his entire face. Are we ready to bring this little one into the world? He asked, bursting with pride. Elara took a deep breath, inhaling the scent of the flowers she had planted, each one symbolic of the joy she hoped to inspire in the new life they were about to embark upon. Ready as I'll ever be, she replied, squeezing Lila's hand for reassurance. They climbed into the awaiting vehicle, a mix of excitement vibrating through the air like static. With each turn of the road leading them to the clinic, Elara's heart raced. She thought of all the moments they had shared, the laughter, the tears, the support. They had navigated this journey together, forming bonds that transcended friendship and ventured into family territory. When they arrived at the clinic, the atmosphere pulsed with excitement. Elara took a moment to collect herself, envisioning her connection with the baby whose arrival she was helping to bring about. She felt the echoes of her spirit intertwined with theirs, love uncondensed waiting to spring forth full of life. Inside the clinic, the warmth of familiarity enveloped her, and she was greeted brightly by Dr. Harrison, whose calming presence grounded her. Welcome back, Elara. Today is an incredible day, and we're thrilled to see you. As they prepared for the forthcoming labor, Elara felt an unexpected wave of calm wash over her. She caught glimpses of Thomas and Lila supporting each other in the waiting area, their love tangible in every exchanged gaze, filling her with unwavering strength. Throughout the early stages, laughter filled the room, creating a comforting ambience. Elara reminisced with Lila about the past months, the times they shared cozy dinners filled with laughter and evenings spent indulging in dream-filled conversations. "Remember the time I tried to make that fancy soufflé?" Lila laughed, recalling the event. "More like a soufflé gone wrong," Elara replied, chuckling. "But it brought us all closer, didn't it? It was a beautiful disaster." Their musings were interrupted by a sudden surge of pressure, a sign that the time had come. Elara's heart raced as she focused on the task at hand. Dr. Harrison guided her through the process, offering words of encouragement. The camaraderie in the room was palpable. Every person there was an unmovable part of the intricate tapestry they had woven together. With each moment that passed, Elara felt herself tapping into a reservoir of strength she didn't know existed. The anticipation in the air thickened. Soon, she would hold the little one they had all envisioned so lovingly. Finally, as the world around her receded into a haze, and a wave of energy surged through her, Elara pushed, surrendering to the process. "You're doing great, Elara. Just keep breathing," Dr. Harrison encouraged. With one final effort, the room erupted in sounds of joy as the first cries of a newborn filled the air, a beautiful sound that resonated with love and new beginnings. Elara felt tears of elation stream down her cheeks as the nurse placed the baby in her arms. Lila stepped closer, eyes wide with wonder, and Thomas beamed brightly as if he had just discovered the universe. "It's perfect," Lila whispered, her voice full of awe. Elara gazed down at the tiny face swathed in soft blankets, a sense of fulfillment washing over her. "This little one is the embodiment of hope," she breathed, overwhelmed by emotion. As Thomas and Lila leaned in to witness the miracle they had all worked towards together, Elara realized that she had fulfilled her role as a collaborator in a larger love story. This tiny life symbolized the bonds they had created, a family deriving strength from the moments shared. In that moment, surrounded by love, Elara understood that she was not just a surrogate, she was a part of the foundation upon which this new family would stand. The connection they shared transcended biology. It was grounded in love, sacrifice, and the legacy of cherished memories. And as they all huddled together, Elara felt the warmth of home embrace her spirit, knowing that she had played a vital role in creating a family that would last a lifetime. She hadn't just given birth, she had found a way to anchor herself into a tapestry of their lives, forever intertwined. With the sun dipping low beyond the horizon and the world embracing the hushed beauty of twilight, Elara realized, family is not defined by blood, but by the ties that bind. And in that truth, she knew home was not just a place, it was a feeling she had found fully and completely, right there in that moment.